to videotape, but that meeting certainly is a public awareness meeting. There's no reason that we shouldn't do that, as they all are, so. All right, so all in favor of the 27th at 6? Opposed? All right. Discuss vote allow Historical Society, not sure that it is the Historical Society at this point, but under their auspices, I guess, to use the central station for, the old central station for temporary storage.
So, second.
Any discussion on that?
And we're going to get all of the desks and dividers and whatnot out of there.
I think that's going to bring them to the dump.
There's a few items in there that, there's a piano in there.
You want it?
No.
Yeah.
You got it, baby. A stand-up piano?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that having gone through a number of auctions 20 years ago, you'll get more for the stool than you
Yeah.
will for
No,
the
I don't
piano.
want it.
So the piano probably should go to the
5, 6 years ago, somebody asked us if we wanted it, and stupidly we said, yeah.
Is the piano in good enough condition that it may be utilized by the band, or not band, but glee club or something
I
at the
would
high
love
school?
to have somebody take it. I'm not suggesting that it's a lovely Steinway or anything,
It's
but
an upright.
I'm not kind of musically inept, and certainly,
So,
Yeah, we know that.
I mean,
Matt?
Mike, have you seen this piano recently?
is it gone? Did you take it out of there?
No, I didn't know if you saw it recently though.
I think if we get somebody willing to move the piano to the dump, we should take it. Take it.
I
Have you
agree.
seen it recently?
A lot of other stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't take it. That's for sure.
Maybe if we get the word out, then
We
anybody
have a-
that's interested.
We have a vol,
Well, I'd love to do it.
we have an offer to clean the place out.
I say
right?
do it.
I think we do.
Whose motion was that? Can we have that added on as an amendment that?
Everything taken out
But the bags, they're gonna
But-
store the bags.
at Mike's house.
What you can do is say that we have a piano there. Anybody that might be interested in taking a look at it, give us a call, and we'll get you over there
It's a great idea.
Evan,
in the next week.
I'd recommend putting it on Craigslist for free. I've been able to get rid of one. They're very impossible to get rid of because most of the time they're not tuned, and that's why people don't use them
Mike,
in the first
that would be an
place.
excellent thing for you to do, right?
There's plenty of them, and people will call you. They do.
Matt?
Congratulations,
If you
Mike.
delegated that, that's fine, it was an offer, but that's fine.
Okay, all
Beautiful.
right.
Thanks.
Leave it for Mikey.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so everybody's clear? They'll use the storage, they'll clean everything out for up to a year, I think is the, kind of the request, right?
We still have the boat located in it, it obviously can't be relocated, but
Yeah, the
I
bu-
talked to Doug and he was okay with that.
that's, I mean, some of that,
Some
if it's,
small stuff, so.
if it's the stuff that has to be there, it'll have to be there, not just, they're not gonna throw the boat away, right? May not be a bad idea.
We'll put that on Craigslist.
Maybe we ought to put that on Craigslist. huh?
Yeah, the-
All those in favor? Opposed? Thanks. All right, discuss this old business, item 1, discuss, somebody saying something? Discuss vote on fire chief command vehicle. We've asked Matt to put side by side, I think everybody has that, with the issues.
I would make a motion to put it on a referendum vote for November, just to move the question.
I have a second to that?
There's a second.
Moved and seconded to, I guess, place the purchase of?
Yeah, what,
Is
to
it-
word, does the town, for a certain amount of money, willing to buy a, because you can't put the money, but is the town
The money
willing-
is raised.
The money is raised, right. Is the town
money
willing
is
to
a
take the
non-issue.
raised money and put it towards a command vehicle for the fire department?
Any discussion?
Discussion. Would you clarify something for me, Nancy? It was, I've been told, and I want to know if this is true, that the funds have been approved at a legally held town meeting.
Sure.
That in order for those funds to be reallocated, that the town would have to call a special town meeting to have them removed, and then they can be put on an agenda for referendum, is that correct?
It is being researched. Possibly, it will be, no, the money that was raised in November will just go into surplus.
Surplus.
Well, I'm not sure
And it
that,
would have to be,
why would you have to raise any money in November?
Well,
You're voting on the appropriation of that money. The money has already been raised.
well, not necessarily, because you're talking, there's $5,000 there, and in the time between now and that meeting, Matt is looking at a couple $1,000s to keep that car on the road over the next couple of months. So now you're down to $3,000. So if we come up with a lease purchase agreement, there's $5,000 in the first year, you're going to overexpend that. That will allow us to get into undesignated surplus. And at that time, hopefully, we'll have money in there from the sale of a
Engine two.
truck right now, and that adds to our undesignated surplus, and we'd have the money there to take out in a referendum. And then we can go ahead if, he's going to need new brakes, he may need transmission work to get that done and get that car, so at least it gets it into November, through November.
Or you don't put any money into the current car,
that's right.
and you do the lease purchase.
And one of the things too is that if you repurchase it, but you still got 6 months left on a new car, so you put off the lease for another 6 months. So that has some money. That has some savings there too.
Matt, what are you looking for a total to repair the thing?
It's estimated it could reach 3,500.
So 3,500, and then go in and ask for another. We don't know because the car's gone now.
I don't know.
Tina?
The Finance Committee met yesterday, and we did draft a memo. May I?
Sure.
We have a copy of it.
Please be advised that at tonight's regular Finance Committee meeting, with all members present, it was a unanimous vote to forward this memo to the Board of Selectmen in regards to the fire department command vehicle. The committee does not feel that at the present time in this economy that a new lease should be entered into. Reference is made to our March 25th, 2009 and June 2nd, 2009 meeting minutes, in which the committee's recommendation was that we would not recommend any new vehicles for fiscal year ending 2010. The fire department's fiscal year ending 2010 budget request was for a vehicle lease or maintenance for the existing vehicle. We understand that at the town auditor's request, all monies presented at last month's annual town meeting in regards to leased equipment was put into one article to be voted on. However, we do not think that it was clear to the voters that the request was intended for the fire department command vehicle, as only vehicle leases with a request of $5,000. With a request of $5,000 was printed in the article, no mention as to what department it was for. Therefore, the committee recommends that this question go to referendum and be clearly written so that the voters know exactly what they are voting on. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Timmy Joe?
I guess, as I was thinking about this, I kind of equated to the library roof. Here we had the library roof that was in disrepair, was causing water leaks into the building, mold problems, water in the light fixtures. And our solution for that for quite a time being was to put a tarp over the roof. And we recognized that eventually that tarp wasn't going to hold anymore. And so we decided we needed to do something different. Well, I kind of look at the fire car, the command vehicle, as the library roof. If we put a transmission in it and we put new brakes in it, that's the tarp. But eventually it's going to give out. So at what point do we stop putting good money into something that we know we're only band-aiding? Looking at the long-range plan of this, the money was allocated at town meeting. Anybody could have gotten up and raised questions about what that money was for, and nobody did. Now we have $5,000 that we said we were going to do a lease with. That's what was approved at town meeting. And I think we need to stop hashing this over and over and over again and decide either we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. But we've got to stop putting tarps and Band-Aids on everything.
Would,
I have another question.
I'm going to deal with the board first.
You want to deal with the board? My mind was made up probably a week ago on this after reviewing everything, and I'm 100% in favor of going with the lease agreement on the vehicle. I can't see putting more money after bad. The concept of having him use his privately owned vehicle is absolutely ridiculous and just is not cost effective. I mean, the insurance alone, and we have an insurance agent here that can attest to this, is there's no underwriter will take it because of the liability. And that liability of allowing that vehicle to continue in operation falls back on the town. And as a leadership element, I think we need to look at what's best for the town in the long run, not how this might have been moved to one article of another in the warrant, and whether this person knew about it, or if this, if it's a power struggle between the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen over how this should be funded, or whether we should do this or not. We need to look at what's best for the town, and I think the purchase of a vehicle is what's best for the town.
John?
It's clearly said.
Anything else?
I would certainly agree that option 3 is not viable, having the chief use his own vehicle. I also think that there's a possibility that with $3,000, $3,500, you have this car on the road for another year. And the question comes down as to when you change cars. Some people change cars every 3 years, their personal car, because they don't want to spend anything on maintenance. And some people go 10, 15 years and say, as the increase in maintenance costs, it's still better than paying for a new car. So they take their car further and further into. At this time, I would like to have the command vehicle a fairly new car. However, we've done some enormous cuts this year in the budget, and therefore I got to settle with option 2. That is to keep the car on the road, go for a referendum at that time, involve the people, and if we want to have a new car, we'll have the money from the sale of the truck, and we can have more options as to whether we buy a car or lease a car.
I agree.
So what happens in November if the taxpayers say no?
I beg your
Then
pardon?
you got another hurdle to jump.
Oh, if the car,
Because when that car died, I don't blame, would you like to have lights and everything drilled into your vehicle out there? For your lights, you gotta have as fire chief or fire department? What do you think's gonna happen to your personal vehicle when you go and trade it in?
Well, he's saying he doesn't want him to use his personal vehicle. He'd rather have this one be,
yeah, I don't
run
want
into
to
the
use
ground.
his personal
That's
vehicle.
right, but what I'm saying, you gotta start thinking ahead too, because if the voters in November say no, and the car, is going on a wing and a prayer right now, what are you gonna do when that goes?
Oh, if the car goes, then we truly have an emergency situation. We've got to do something about it quickly. If the car
Which
flat
would
out
be
goes,
what?
but
Which would be what, go buy a car?
if the car is unable to run on the road, if I look at this, my personal vehicle, if my car is unable to run and I have to get to work, then I got to buy another vehicle. But if I feel I can't afford a new vehicle and I really want to see if I can get through it this year with what I have, then that's what I'm going to do. And if I'm forced into an emergency situation, then we've got to lease a new vehicle. I'm just saying at this time, I think that car has the potential of being able to, with a little bit of work on it, get through this year. And and we also have a referendum to go to, and so I agree with that.
Cindy?
I agree with John. no question.
Here's kind of where I am. I'm kind of torn here because, number one, well over a year ago, we started this discussion, and financially, the times weren't right. And we said, how do we patch the vehicle up? We did put some money into it, and we've been fortunate it's lasted a year, right? Most of all the other equipment that we've purchased for the fire department has not been at referendum. So I'm not a big fan of taking this to a referendum, because the real issue is that typically these are discussed and hashed out at a town meeting, okay, of whether or not we need additional equipment, firefighting equipment. I don't see this as any different, and I think what people get hung up on is it's for the chief. It's not for this chief. If Matt decides tomorrow that he's moving on and going somewhere else, the next chief that we appoint will have the same vehicle. So it's not Matt's vehicle, it's a vehicle for the fire department, all right? So I'm a bit torn with, do we continue to stretch this out and go and once it's gone, then we got to go do something? I'm not a fan of taking it to the people in November, even though, yes, that's the true test, okay? But we spent $1 million plus 2 years ago at a town meeting. We didn't take that to a referendum. So I think that we're getting down to a $19,000 vehicle. We're going to take the referendum, but we spent over $1 million and did it with 110 people at town meeting. Inconsistent, in my opinion.
So that means that if they go to paper bag this year, we shouldn't put it on the ballot?
No,
Because
no,
after all,
different-
it's been
different-
the
no, different issue.
That's-
Different
no,
issue.
It's been
Different
voted
issue.
on 3 times now?
No, different issue, okay?
Same premise.
What about emergency, what about a special town meeting? How do you feel about that?
Well,
It's different
special
from a
town
referendum.
meeting, certainly a special town meeting, I guess, then you bring it back to the people at a special town meeting. I'm not a big fan of special town meetings anyway, but the fact of the matter is
Compared
that,
to a referendum, though.
well, I think at least you get the ability to get people up and to have that discussion, that open discussion.
Because I personally am not wed to a referendum so much as having the people deal with it. And if it's a special town meeting, that's fine with me. But
I mean, my druthers is that, we need to move on, okay, and do one of two things, all right? Is Matt drive the vehicle, we're gonna put minimum maintenance into it until it dies, okay? And if that's next month, then we have to act and go do something,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And I don't think that, with the money has been approved, yes, if he puts a lot of money into maintenance, that pool of money starts to be reduced, okay? But it also, it means that the lease is not 12 months in this year, it is 8 or 9 months in this year. So whatever you save in a monthly lease, the money will be there to pick it up. So my preference would be, let's run the car, and if it goes, and we go do something else. But I don't believe that that's a personal vehicle. I think that is out of the question.
Well, I don't
It's an
want him-
insurance issue,
I,
it's a
Oh, yeah, I
liability
agree with
issue
that.
for the
we all
town.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let me run one more time through the board here. Tammy, Joe, anything else?
I just think as far as going to special town meeting or referendum vote, we had a meeting, we had town meeting, we had a vote at town meeting, and just because somebody doesn't like the outcome, we're going to redo it.
Gordon?
This item was first brought up, I guess, as a part of a capital plan several years ago. And now we're going to scrub the whole capital plan because of this one item. A lot of talk has been spent about the severe budget cuts that have been taken, but we're not taking into consideration the fact that this money is in the budget, it wasn't cut. And it's not going to affect one way or the other the outcome of the previous cuts that we did do, or the board did do. I'm just not a fan of the referendum for items like this, because I think that the people of the community vote for the selectmen to make decisions so that you don't have to have referendums week after week after week or special town meetings. They rely on us to make a decision based on clear fact and what's best for the town. I don't think that we should scrap the CIP plan. I think we should move forward. I'm in perfect agreement with Dennis in that respect, but I can't see throwing good money after bad down a black hole. I'm still in favor of the lease option here.
John, anything else?
How much,
You're not crapping, I mean, crapping, scrapping.
how much is the
You're not
lease?
scrapping the capital plan. What you're doing
Well, the other-
is we have, I mean, the capital plan stays intact. What you do is you, some items of it, you back it off. But anyway,
The last part of that is I don't like crisis management either. I mean, we're planning for the future, and if we're planning in a responsible way, we don't allow crises to dictate how we do things. Sometimes it's inevitable, something comes up that's unforeseen. This isn't something that was unforeseen. This has been going on for a while.
my issue with the crisis management is we are in crisis management as soon as this budget went downhill, and we've done some things in response to that budget that we didn't want to do. And part of them was not buying this vehicle, and part of them was cutting people's jobs back. A lot of stuff was due to a financial crisis that we made decisions on, and this is one item of them. So that's why I'm stuck in. Well, not stuck, but that's
In
why
the true
I'm.
sense of that then, John, I say that we remove the $5,000 completely and don't use it for a car or for maintenance, because then that's truly a budget cut.
Cindy, anything else?
So we have 5,100 in the budget.
5,000.
How much?
5,000.
And
And
that
the
was
lease is,
reduced.
That was reduced from 6,100.
and the lease is 5,000. The first year?
The proposal shows 5,000, it's a lease purchase of the vehicle owned by the town at the end. Shows 5,000 down.
And it's still going to cost probably another $500 more than that to letter the vehicle and to move some stuff around on it?
We have almost all the equipment for the vehicle.
No, I understand, but how much will it cost to letter it? Yeah, I'm just asking.
$200 for lettering.
Okay,
Is what RSD Graphics could give me for verbal quote.
okay.
And the equipment is all in stock, we have all of it, and labor costs will be everything except for antennas. We'd be able to take care of ourselves.
So that'll be about $300 then? say,
If that for the
total.
antennas, I'm not even, we're talking 3 holes in the roof.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm gonna add here is just remember, they're going into the budget season. We did cut, we did a lot of sacrifices. The fire department took a significant amount of cost out of the fire department, okay, and the budget. This was not one of those cuts,
I
okay?
understand
It
that.
was included in it. So their budget ultimately was presented to the voters with this in it, okay? Evan?
First of all, this is not just a one-time $5,000 hit. This is a lease, so you're signing on for consecutive years. That's the first thing. This isn't just $5,000. Second to your point, Dennis, when we were doing the budget, this was talked about as a repair as well. When it went to town meeting, it went to that. Whether or not it's, I've heard different words going around as to how it was represented. I don't think that it was clear enough. I had no idea as a selectman. I heard John, I think last week or the week before, also said that he was unclear, and there were people unclear at town meeting. Now, we've done revotes on lesser things. You had brought up the inconsistency. The fire truck that you're referencing had to be put on as an emergency item because Matt came forward and said that we could no longer use the old truck, and we were in dire need of a vehicle. We went to town meeting with the understanding that that could be turned down. This vehicle, what do we do when this is turned down at town meeting, when people may perhaps find out what is going on next year, what that line item actually means? I would recommend that it goes to referendum, just for the reason of allowing residents in this town to vote on it. And Nancy says, what do we do if it doesn't pass? We don't have it. That's the whole idea behind voting and behind representing the people of this community. If the people don't want something, Nancy, we don't have it. That's That's just how it works.
I
And to
realize
say
that.
that this is a safety issue, I've heard that come up over and over again. If we get the car repaired, it will be safe. And we've managed to repair this car in the past. And, you know, I also bring us back a couple of years in town meeting when a command vehicle was turned down. A command vehicle was turned down by the people of this town, and they were clearly asked about it. They did not want it. That the vehicle that's currently there was a vehicle that was taken back as a contract deputy vehicle. And from what I remember, the arrangement was at the time when the new contract deputy vehicle was retired, then that would also go to the chief for use.
So I think
And
my
that was
problem,
how it was supposed
And
to
and to
be.
get back to the warrant articles, the Board of Selectmen are in charge of the warrant articles.
right, and
Yeah.
four of
They're in
us
charge
didn't
of the
understand
warrant.
it.
That's right, but you guys was given enough draft articles and was asked to please review them.
Well, we,
Nancy,
four of us
when
didn't.
we were reviewing them
Four
as
of
a
us
board
didn't.
workshops,
Would you let me finish? I really feel bad for our department heads who worked so hard putting budgets together, because apparently they weren't looked at.
well, Nancy, that's a nice spin, but I can
Did you
tell
look
you,
at his? He had a return of investment on his new vehicle. The
Nancy-
selectmen didn't look at it.
Nancy, it's a great spin, but at the workshops, we clearly spoke of repairing or lease on this vehicle. That was clearly the discussion, and I think that there's several selectmen up there that will agree with that. Repair was discussed. It's great to spin it around and make it so that it's employees pitted against selectmen, and that's absolutely wrong. That has no place here, it's inappropriate.
Can I just say one thing first? And believe me, I hope Matt knows that the selectmen are not against the fire department. I mean, we voted to put more money in so that we would have the safety of having crew on at night. And I know Matt did everything he could to cut his budget, and I'm really on the fence. It just bothers me that the finance committee and at least 4 selectmen didn't understand it.
Matt, you had your hand up.
Just to, and I understand that what Heather was making reference to several years ago, we had many issues that year. And that was the same year that we had ads that were in opposition to almost everything that was published in the paper that we had discussions about from the finance committee. I had discussions with the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office has no foresight in the future of replacing the current vehicle because of the accident that occurred. There's nothing even in the plans.
Chris?
As a taxpayer, I have a real problem with what's going on with this discussion and a lot of discussions that have happened over the last year. I think that as a town, we need to start being proactive in the way we address things, not reactive. Putting $3,500, $3,400, $3,000, whatever it is, into a car that's worth $200 seems like not such a good situation. And as a taxpayer, putting a lot of taxes into the town, I have a real problem with the fact that we're not looking to do capital improvement to our town. This is a no-brainer, and I don't know why there's so much decisiveness on the board. It is a no-brainer. If you have done the math, and I have done the math, it will cost this town less money. The last 4 years, this vehicle will last anywhere from 9 to 10 years. Your lease is for 5, so for 4 years, you don't pay a thing. If you repair the car, you're just prolonging that 9 years.
See, it's easy for you to say, because you did not sit there when we were talking about
It's
general
numbers.
assistance.
It's numbers, Cindy. It's a numbers game.
But you
It's
do
a
the
numbers
addition.
game.
You create the numbers. I can create the numbers and show you something entirely different.
Actually, I just did the numbers exactly how they're supposed to be done. The numbers say you pay for 5 years, you don't pay for 4. That's what the numbers say. You do it the way you're doing it now, you repair, you prolong the 5 years that you're paying over a period of
But
time.
you're not paying-
The taxpayers will be paying more
At the
over
first-
the period of 9 years.
Not
They
necessarily.
will.
The
Not-
new vehicle would have
This
100,000.
I'll sit
gentleman-
down with you and I'll show you that.
This gentleman in the back.
We went to town meeting and spent the time to go in there and vote for these different articles as the taxpayers. And the taxpayers voted this through. We voted for that to happen. Whether some certain individuals didn't understand it, I'm sorry. But the taxpayers said, we want it, it was voted on, and I think it should be done. That's
I
a lot.
don't think anything else can happen, Dennis, honestly. I don't see how this conversation even takes place.
That's because you weren't sitting here, Mike.
Well,
It
I wasn't
was
sitting
voted
there,
on.
I read the article. It's been voted on at a public town meeting, everyone was there. If you weren't there, well, sorry you didn't show up.
Dennis?
If
I'll
this
make
does
a
not
motion
take place, you're
question.
violating the law of the state of Maine.
Motion has been made to move the question on the board here. All those in favor of moving the question?
Point of order.
Ceasing debate.
He had his hand up before the motion.
There were two hands up before the motion. Three.
Is it still moved?
Well, I mean, it's a selectmen's.
Who moved to, who made
Tammy
the
Jo.
motion? You made the motion to move it? Okay, good, it's up here then.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one else gets a vote here tonight.
I didn't know if
Just
someone
make
out
sure-
there said,
just make
let's,
sure.
let's stop the
Right.
debate, you know?
There's 5 people that will vote.
But it needed to be seconded.
Right. Is there a second to move the question?
Second.
All right, so it's been moved, seconded, no debate. All those in favor of moving the question, ceasing debate, opposed? All right. The question on the floor is to present this at a referendum vote in the November election, or the November election vote, okay? And I guess that is, I'm not clear on how that's worded, okay, in your motion, because there's some funding that's required, I guess if we sort that out, right? So if we look back on the motion, now that we're 20 minutes after that, I'm gonna depend on Pam.
And are the costs for the election going to be taken out? Because you've got the printing of the ballots and all that will have to be paid for. It's not in the budget. It's not in the budget, this is going to be an extra election.
So Pam, what was the, Bob?
Yes, it is, Evan.
The
The town did not put in their budget.
anyways in November.
That is correct, that is
But you
correct.
still got to
But
print.
the town's
Just
gonna
talking
pay.
about another issue that's gonna be on there, to print ballots. I mean, just to totally
What's
bash
the cost?
everything, Nancy.
What's the cost to do this change?
No,
It's
it-
a democratic
it's-
process to represent the entire Lisa now.
Pam,
It's already been
please.
The motion was to put it on a referendum vote for November to see if the town is willing to use the money for a new command vehicle.
Okay, so in essence, use the money that was raised for a new command vehicle.
Okay, there's a discussion on that.
Well, we're moving to the question. So
Okay,
the question's been moved, we're gonna.
but not on the, but
Well, I
just
want to
on
make
how,
sure
on
that
the wording.
everybody's clear to what the wording is.
Okay, on the wording. Yeah, I thought it was to raise money for that, not necessarily where the money was coming from, just to raise money for it.
Well, is it to raise or
Money's been
appropriate?
raised.
Appropriate money.
So it's,
So not where it came from, just to appropriate the money.
they're the two that moved in second. Are you okay with,
Yeah,
the
I'm
intent is to appropriate the money? Okay? All those in favor of the referendum? All those opposed? What's your pleasure? That motion is dead. So,
I make a motion that we move forward with the wishes of the town meeting as they voted at that time and enter into the lease purchase of a vehicle for the fire department.
Second.
any discussion on that motion? I'm going to deal with the board here first, so then I'll deal with everybody else.
I think I said plenty.
Yeah, I have no more to say.
Tammy Jo?
No more to say.
I'm not beating the dead horse anymore.
You have nothing else?
I have no more to say.
Evan?
As this was represented in the warrant article as a $5,000 lease, is that all the Board of Selectmen is going to enter into an agreement for? There was no clear explanation in that article stating the total purchase price of that vehicle to residents in this town. It said $5,000. That'd be 1 year. So that would be the agreement that we voted on at town meeting, and that's what I would expect for the selectmen to go through is 1 year.
There's no, there was, I mean, the other all those other leases have the same issue with them too.
No, they
So-
were clearly explained.
Right,
The
and
town
and
was
it would,
going
and it would
into
come
an
back,
agreement.
Evan, like every other year. Next year would be in the lease, all for the leases for those vehicles.
But
right?
you're going into
So
an
that we
agreement for
can-
more
we-
than 1 year.
Right,
All
but
that was approved at town meeting was 1 year
But the
lease.
lease, all the leases have no funding clauses, all right? We've never entered in a lease, to my knowledge, that had anything but a non-fund clause. Every year, we have to go back to the people to raise that money for the ensuing year.
But the first year, when we enter into the lease, we tell people the total terms and the total price of the vehicle. We've always laid that out. This one was a single line under probably 10 or more items. It was one line that said lease.
Well, we can debate all we want of how it was presented.
Well, that's-
But going forward, there is a mechanism, which is called town meeting, to raise additional funds for the ensuing further years, okay? That's dealt with every year in a lease article, okay? So yes, we commit the town to a lease, but in that lease arrangement, there is a non-funding clause that says, should the town not fund it, the lease is terminated.
I understand that, but we've always been very clear on the actual terms of the lease that our residents are agreeing to while at the town meeting. That one was not clear, and we approved $5,000 for the lease of a vehicle. It was very unclear.
Tina, I'm sorry.
The way the warrant was written, the whole article was written, all it said was lease vehicle. I mean, as far as the townspeople, or the taxpayer, or the voters knew, was that this could be any vehicle. It could be a vehicle for the code enforcement officer who has needed a vehicle for the past umpteen years. You know, so as far as sending this off to referendum with a clear understanding that this is a fire department command vehicle, because it wasn't clear in the warrant.
Matt?
While I respect that, Tina, in the budget books that were almost 2 inches thick that I submitted on the numerous pages, and it clearly indicated what this was for in the CIP, in the budget, and in discussions. The only discussion that we had with you was on the 2nd of June, I believe the date was. Other than that, I have not heard any requests from the Finance Committee, including the last night's meeting.
You got a request from us June 2nd. Tim and Joe made a
Other than,
phone call.
I just made reference to June 2nd.
And there were several emails that this was just to repair his current vehicle. And I got from the chief that if we didn't recommend the $5,000, then it would be like losing $10,000. I don't know where he did his math, but that was the email that I got.
And can you explain to me the line in the second paragraph that the Finance Committee wrote that said the fire department's 2010 budget request was for a vehicle lease or maintenance to the existing vehicle? That just contradicts your prior statement.
Well, no, I'm just saying the way it was written on the warrant, it didn't say that on the warrant.
Oh.
I saw the 4-inch in every, well, because the way the Finance Committee got the whole budget, you guys, well, 4 of you know what it looked like when we got it. We did not get that written the way the warrant articles were written for town meeting. We got bashed on June, whenever we had our finance meeting here with all the department heads. We were sideballed with that one.
Anything else?
And one more statement.
Okay.
I'm not here, my vote is not necessarily to negate what was done in town meeting. I think is differing from Chris, that we can sit there and create our own explanations by the numbers. My numbers shows that it may be cheaper to keep this vehicle for the next 6 months or a year than to start leasing a new vehicle. So I'm looking at it strictly from money and not so much from did I feel the taxpayers were duped, because I don't think so. I'm not worried about that aspect of things that much. I'm looking at it strictly from money, and I think it's probably the cheaper way to go is to maintain the vehicle. And that's how I voted, and that's how I will.
And I'm going to reiterate what I said before. I think we have a vehicle that currently today is running. Is it the optimum vehicle? No, it isn't, okay? And I think that that vehicle, last year, we didn't think it had much life left in it. It lasted us well over a year. I think it still has some legs. And I think that we run the legs off it, and to the point where we then go back to what was approved at town meeting and move forward, okay? But I don't think that we're in any immediate need to run out tomorrow and say, we need to go lease a vehicle.
I guess that would be
Okay.
my opinion, too.
I think, yes, we have an issue that's before us, and I think we have all of the data collected, and if we head to tomorrow, because we have no vehicle that operates, we can then make that decision, do we put another $3,500 into it, or do we go make a lease, all right? I think that becomes much, much clearer,
That is
all right?
clear.
Because we know that we've exhausted or run the legs off the current vehicle. But I think you got some, I mean, last year, well over last year, because it was in budgeting season for the '09 fiscal year, we had the discussion of, hey, we need to do something. We looked at retired cruises. We looked at the Maine surplus list. We got registered, Matt and I, for surplus list and all over the country, okay? And we looked at old cruises with 150,000 miles on them. We decided that probably wasn't the right thing to do. And we left that as a board to say, Matt, put something together and put it in the budget, which he did, okay, moving forward. Different fiscal year, some of the different discussions, all right? And believe me, we had enough discussions of reducing costs in every department, let alone the fire department, okay? So we are where we are, okay? We've got a town meeting vote that has approved money. Not sure that we need to go out and spend that money today. It's not burning a hole in anybody's pocket. And I'd like to see us run the vehicle to a point where we now have to make a decision of, is it going to make it tomorrow or isn't it? Yes, sir.
There are 41 residents on Logan Circle paying ample amount of taxes to this town. We receive no services. I'd be in favor of taking some of my tax dollars and buying a new vehicle. There's 41 of us that I think total somewhere around $100,000 to $150,000 in municipal taxes. We get no plowing, we get no road maintenance, we get nothing. Take some of our tax dollars and buy a new vehicle.
No, I'm not going to get in a debate whether you get nothing or not, because we do have a municipal transfer station, we do have fire protection, we do have a whole education system and all of that stuff. So, but I understand where you're
Yes,
coming from. Yeah,
a good percentage of the people there have no children in school.
understand.
Yes, we do have transfer station, we have fire protection, but I was told last year that while we were building my son's house, that if I had a heart attack and that road wasn't plowed, that I'm gonna die.
That's a
Is that
scare
fair?
tactic.
Is
Well,
that fair?
there's-
Just take our tax dollars.
And that's, I don't know who told you that, but that's, we have in town meeting approved the ability to go in and open up any road in the case of an emergency, whether it's a town road or not, so.
I don't think that's the issue. The issue is,
I
we're
understand.
paying tax dollars.
Yep.
Like to see a little
I
bit
hear you.
of something more in return.
Anything else? Bridget?
I guess I just want to say that if we're going to operate on a run it to the ground, I sure hope it doesn't go to the ground in the middle of an emergency. And I sure hope it doesn't go to the ground in a way that endangers whoever's in it. And that's not a scare tactic. That's when a machine is about ready to go, it goes suddenly.
Understand, and I don't think that's my intent to say, run it till the wheels fall off, per
Well,
se.
that's
But
what you're saying.
I think you have to run the vehicle. A year ago, Bridget, it was imminent that we were going to have issues, okay? And it's lasted a year
I
plus.
think it's very risky to take the tack that you're taking when it has to do with public safety, with both the safety of those who are doing the public safety and the safety of the public.
Sure.
And I think that you're doing it in dollars and cents. And Cindy keeps going back to, if you knew the train of thought that we had gone through to get to the point where we are, you would agree with us. But that's not necessarily the case. You are 5, and there's a lot of us who have some passion about taking care of those who take care of us. And the position, I'm not talking about Matt Boris. I'm talking
Understand.
about the person who gets there first and takes control.
Evan?
I think it's important to clarify the actual issues with this cruiser. I mean, it sounds like we should throw it away. I just recently replaced the brakes on my truck. I have 104,000 miles. It's called maintenance. That's what this vehicle needs. It has a transmission problem. A lot of vehicles have it, even 60,000 miles I've seen it. I have an issue on my truck right now. Can't afford to do it, so I'm waiting. Is it a danger? No, it's not a danger. It's not a problem. You know, it just slips a little bit. But I think before we blow this way out of proportion that, you know, Matt's flying down the road without brakes and, you know, it's a public risk and stuff. I mean, he needs new brakes and transmission service. I mean, this is something we all do on our own cars.
And, yes, sir.
One thing I did a few years ago, my wife was, when she first got into the department, she's the deputy chief, and she went down on a rescue call, driving a Dodge Stratus. She got to the bottom of this residence, it's down a hill. She got down there, got stuck, it was a wet spring storm. She had to carry the kid in her arms up to the ambulance in the road, and I vowed to her that would be the last time that would happen, and after that I purchased a four-wheel drive vehicle for her so that she's able to do that. And that's the type of terrain that we have to deal with in this area. You know, I know there was talk about a Blazer. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I think a pickup would be a better type of vehicle in the long run for where we seem to live. There was a dirt bike accident across the street from my house. The ambulance got called down there. There was no way the ambulance was going out. I went down with my own pickup, and we transported that person out in my pickup because there was no apparatus that would do that. Something like this vehicle, I think, would be beneficial to that. And, you know, I agree with this gentleman, where we are, we need something that can get down there. You can't wait always for a snowplow coming over up a road. The guy could be dead by then.
I'll be short. I think that you might have something, Dennis, with, you know, seeing what we can do for as long as we can do it, up to a point of possibly, once the weather starts turning colder, I think you'll find in the wintertime, if we don't do something, make a decision, we're going to find ourselves in a little bit of trouble during a cold night or something like that. I'm under the understanding that the heated core in that does not work. There's no heat in that vehicle. I think we could probably get through the summer months here, and that we should certainly look at it, you know, in the fall for the wintertime.
I don't see any hands.
So again, if the new motion passes, then it's as to when this is, as to whether you go out and get this new vehicle tomorrow, or whether you wait until October or sometime like that. I mean, one of the things in waiting, I mean, you could always have the wheels drop off, you know, you could always have something unforeseen happen, say, whoop, made the wrong decision, waited too long on this vehicle. But you put a little bit of money into it, then what you do is you're saving 4 or 5 months of lease money. There is a little bit of devaluation when you buy a vehicle. It starts to devaluate, so you got another period of time where you're not devaluating a vehicle and putting mileage on it. And then the other piece is that when you put a little bit of money into it now, Matt said it may be worth $500 to $1,500. You get brakes that work and a transmission that works. You may put you might put a little bit of time into a little bit of money into that, but it also increases the resale value. So I mean, I think this article is going to pass. I think you got 3 votes right here. My guess is, I would feel better that if you didn't feel a need to go right out there and buy a
I guess
new
my
vehicle.
question on that, John, would be if we did approve the lease and we waited several months, the present vehicle is still going to need maintenance, so we're going to be infusing money into that maintenance. Now, we don't have the $5,000 to work with for the lease. We're going to have to wait either by special town meeting.
Does it need
But
maintenance in the next 2 months?
my point with that is that if we, 3 months from now, okay, make the, I mean, I guess my point is if he drives the vehicle, yeah, he's going to have to put some brakes into it, okay? So there is some minimal investment to keep him going. If by winter or whatnot, then it becomes very obvious that we got to go into the lease, right? Then we haven't paid, we haven't started any lease payment yet. Lease payment will start when we acquire the lease vehicle.
Yeah, we're still going to need the 5,000 up front, though, right?
No,
No.
you may need
Oh,
300 for brakes.
5,000 is,
Yeah.
the 5,000 is up front. It's not based on an annual or a monthly payment.
It's the 5,000 we're paying for.
All right.
In other
My
words, whatever you decide is so be at this point. But we've recently acquired the laptop computers to move this dispatch that we tried to save several $1,000s for. We've got laptops, a laptop that's sitting in the office at this point that we don't know what we're going to do with, want to get it mounted, but in order to get it mounted, there's upfront costs. That is labor costs and moving the stuff. When we move forward, we will, but it's going to cost us money at this point to do that in front of the vehicle. If you come in and hold off, we'll just leave it in the office and leave it where it is. We just need to know direction.
Chris?
Well, I was going to save this special announcement for a later time during the year,
He's cute.
but the fire department is going to be saving $2,500 from their budget this year for the fire safety prevention with the little kids. I'm taking care of it for the fire department. So there's $2,500 there you're saving.
Okay. Anything else, folks? One last shot? All right, we have a motion on the floor to move forward with the lease purchase using funds available. In a second, all those in favor? Opposed? Passes. So I guess my advice is that you, the money doesn't have to burn a hole in your pocket. You don't have to run out today, but I think you need to move forward and put the thing together and come back to the board with the agreement. Okay? All right, moving on. Other information. Vote to sign warrants and bills for payroll.
Second?
All those in favor? Vote to sign minutes of 7/7.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Discussion of agenda items for next week.
Award the library roof.
Library award, the library roof bids. Are we back with Patty back on, I would presume? Okay.
Update on the maintenance
Maintenance position.
position,
Yep.
number of candidates, et cetera, et cetera.
Establish the workshop for the North Station.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I can't hear it.
Establish the workshop for North Station. You're welcome.
And I'm not sure that, I mean, it's a public workshop, but that's really between the fire department and us, right? I think we could certainly invite what was left of the committee, right? The committee was really a...
Okay, yeah, okay.
Or we can do it between...
God, I just
What
think
I'd like to do is...
how long and
Pretty much.
painful that situation was.
We had pretty much disbanded that
Yeah.
committee after the Neil
That's
Courtney,
fine.
so
Yeah,
does that
it-
committee even exist
No,
anymore?
so let's, in theory, it doesn't. So I guess it's between Matt and us, whoever he wants to bring, and I think we look at, I guess what I would like,
Talking
Matt,
about North Station.
North Station, is maybe we make that a little bigger than North Station issue and have a workshop between the fire department and the Board of Selectmen to look at
Response time?
response times graphically.
I don't know where we are in the discussion of this, but
Workshop.
Well, we're trying to
agenda
set up a
items for next
workshop.
week.
Okay, well, real quick about this, I looked at a lot of different times, and I reported it briefly, I don't know if you heard me, but basically all the incidents in North Waterboro were 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Our response times now look better than they have looked in a long time. We had a study done a little over a year ago from North Station. Honestly, I don't believe I've seen anything change in this community in the past year and a half that would indicate that we need to run out tomorrow and revamp that. The discussion in the study talked about Lake Arrowhead and the
Trailer park.
the new development, the potential for the...
Carthage.
Thank you. Carthage lumber. And that if that was to be developed entirely, and we need to look at this, that, again, now we go back to the study, that it doesn't even talk about it being in its current location. We spent $5,000 on the study, and it talks about it being on the opposite side of Route 5 towards the Lake Arrowhead community. When we look at our response times, I brought up about the fatal fire because the response times then, the truck was in North Waterboro, at the North Waterboro station, and the response time was then 1 minute longer than what it was for the fire, for the car fire, that car fires burn.
Not that we want to have the workshop now, but I think that what we want to do is just to sit down with you and Lisa and your tenants or whomever you need to bring. Let's look at the last year. Let's bring out the Courtney study again. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly that we need to seriously consider, especially if Carthage starts to go, that we need some presence, okay? I mean, I think it was Gordon that, as we were watching the parade the other day and saw Ross Connor go by, and they said we need a Ross Connor in the northern part of town, not, something that might be shared by 2 municipalities.
And we've
okay?
had, and we have hammered those discussions.
So that's the kind of, I guess that's the kind of flavor that I think we really need to bring to the workshop.
For point though, is we're in the process of trying to eliminate an engine out of this whole process. So, yes, it's still on the market, but if we're going to be resurfacing these discussions, that engine's going to come back into a conversation for another station.
Well, but there's
So,
always,
just,
there's always some available used equipment should we have to equip a,
And probably in
right?
that commission.
And if it was a multiple town deal, then it becomes a multiple town deal, right? Everybody contributes. So-
Yeah,
If, in a discussion that's going to happen, I know I don't want to get into it, obviously, you don't want to do it now with a workshop, but there is a station that's owned by the town of Leamington up on Route 117. The question comes is if your road, Chadbourne Ridge Road, is ever improved to the point where it's passable through Carthage lumber or what for, that a station up there may be suitable enough to use in a similar fashion as Ross Corner. So I think there's a discussion.
Let's have that discussion. I think that's a,
I mean,
I mean, we can establish the workshop now, if you want to set a date. We don't have to bring it back on the agenda next week, but I think, so if you want to do that,
Can we
let's...
start out about a month or so, is that?
Yeah, that's, so if we do something in August, what? Used to be a calendar hanging on the wall.
Week of August 12th, I believe, is your vacation.
Third is on Monday.
Huh?
The third is on
Flip the
Monday,
page.
3/10, 17, Monday.
okay, meetings are the 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th. And we could come in before a meeting on one of those days.
It's fine with me, if you want to do it on a different night. I mean, it certainly could go over an hour, right? So, you want to do it on like a Thursday night, maybe
7, 14,
6th and
21,
the
28.
13th?
What's the date?
20.
So what's
6th.
the issue of this exactly?
I think we've had some input, right? Citizen input relative to concerns, right? I think it's prudent for us to at least, and maybe we should do it on an annual basis, look at, we made a decision based on a consultant's recommendation, okay? I think let's review what are the results since we've made that decision.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and we got to keep it open because at some time, as development increases in the north part of town, we're probably looking at a substation out there. But also, one of the things that we've been through this in the past 3 years for a tremendous amount of hours put into this, and One of the things that the chief said that was dead on is, yeah, you might be able to get a quicker response time to this particular situation if North Station was open and you had a person that was awake at 10:30 at night and lived within an hour, was dressed and ready to go and lived within a mile of the station, you'd get there before the first truck. But otherwise, it could have been 15 minutes or no show because there may not have been anybody there that would have responded.
How's the 6th sound?
Thank you.
The 6th work, Thursday night?
That's the first week of August?
Yeah,
Or
first
we
week
can
of
do it
August.
the 13th, doesn't matter. You said you were on vacation?
Well, it's been a toss between the first 2 weeks of August, but we can change that around whatever.
Get around your
Well,
vacation.
let us know your vacation, and then we'll set a date for either the 6th or the 3rd.
You know, I think that if this workshop is a little broader, that I think that obviously, depending on what we have in future information of what's going on in this community, South is going to become an issue as well.
Yeah, I agree. Okay?
One thing you may want to consider is whether or
We'll
not...
bring it back next week just to firm up the date, okay? I'm looking at Pam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, check with the planning board at some point, just for discussion on, because it's my understanding there's going to be some contract zoning issues with respect to the possible development in the north end, and it may be part of that, you may have some consideration there for a building.
Well, the contract zoning goes through the selectmen, not the planning board.
Oh, it does, okay.
Okay?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, we get
The
that.
negotiation.
Will we invite the town planner as well?
If you want.
It might be
We
a
can
good
do
idea
that.
for
Yep.
planning aspect.
Okay, anything else that we need to bring?
Acceptance of resignation.
Yes.
Yeah, we probably should have done that tonight.
Should we include the appointment,
Can we do it now?
Appointments
Dennis?
and resignations,
or do we
yeah.
have to
Why, do you have somebody that you want to appoint?
No, I mean the resignation.
I guess we could do that, and then put it back out.
And then
Yeah, there's still 2 applicants. I don't know if we can pick from that pool, or do we have to go back
I'd
out?
like to put it out again.
We can put it out. So do you want to add that to the agenda right now?
I make a motion, we add to the agenda committee resignation.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we have a letter here from Sue Dunlap, who is the chair of the planning board.
I move that we accept Sue's resignation, and I'd like to note that she, over the years, has been a real, put in a tremendous amount of energy, leadership, and has been a force. And I appreciate everything that she has done.
Second that.
I agree. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. All right. We're all set with agenda items. Infrastructure security.
Actually, if it's okay with you folks,
Don't you dare.
Mike stayed
Sat
for
there
this.
2.5 hours.
He could have been
Had a
gone.
Hockey game at 8:30. Come on.
You had a hockey game?
Yeah.
You ain't going anywhere by 8:30 to play a hockey
what I
game.
was going
Well, I
to
was
suggest,
hoping to be at the game at 8:20 so I could step on the ice at 8:30, but
What I
please
was-
don't do this to me again.
what I was going to suggest is, because of the lateness of the hour, I'm willing to postpone the workshop. You could get there at 8:30, but if you...
Saco is quite a bit more than 4 minutes away.
Oh, yeah,
but,
okay, then let's
I
continue
mean,
on.
there's nobody here. I'm a little frustrated. I understand meetings go along, and we know how important Matt is. Let's
Fine.
not mince words here.
So, in
But I gotta ask you.
say it again?
Yeah, I make a motion that cameras terminate because of the security issue that we're dealing with, and that is a protected item under state law.
So does it have to be executive session, or just, I mean, anybody from the public can walk in here, but we wouldn't broadcast it, I guess, is...
Just we wouldn't
Right.
broadcast it.
So, a motion to not broadcast the workshop?
I'll move.
Minutes
We
and
not
whatnot.
broadcast.
Minutes, I would say we'd keep, right?
But then that's public,
Doesn't
boy.
make any sense. You
That-
can't do that. You
I
can't
mean,
tell me
you're-
to do this, and this with my money and then publish it.
No, I would agree. I think it has to,
Well, I don't think we're doing anything with any money right now. All we're doing is just,
security, it should be in this room and in this room only.
right,
Exactly.
until a decision is made
Yeah.
to move forward. So I guess I'll backtrack and...
well, we don't
Actually,
take, we don't take
do
minutes in a
for
workshop.
workshops. So there's the one.
So let's go through and adjourn the meeting, and we'll open up the workshop, right?
Can we take a break for just a few minutes?
If you want, while we're going through the rest of this. Items needing signature and payroll, go ahead, Tammy Jo, if you want.
Thank you.
Signature
hall
and payroll,
pass.
warrants and bills for payroll, appointment papers, which are none, minutes of 7:09, and there's no septic system variance to sign. Reminders, Wednesday, tomorrow night, tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., the WAB meeting at Town Hall.
We back on the air?
Wednesday, July 15th, 7:30 p.m., Town Hall, Planning Board, Town Hall Annex. The 16th, 6 p.m. workshop with the Economic Development Committee, Planning Board, CEO, Town Administrator, Selectmen. Is Tom coming to that?
If he's not ill.
Okay, because he's kind of like ex officio on the EDC, right? And that's here in this room at 6 p.m. Town planner, we get town planner, road review, and committee chairman and ZBA chairman. I'm sorry, the 16th, 6:30 p.m. Garden Club at the Town Hall. Monday, the 20th, 6 p.m. Water District Trustees Town Hall, 6 o'clock Selectmen's meeting here at the Town Hall. Thursday night, the 23rd, there will be a Selectmen's workshop here at the Town Hall Annex with goals and objectives.
Could I just, is the EDC meeting at 3:30 on Thursday? Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn and go into the workshop.
Motion to adjourn and go into the workshop.
Second.
All those in favor?